Straight ahead on The Drift, we meet the good folks of Gnome Surf and experience how they are impacting the lives of children with challenges in a wonderful way. And at the helm with Boat US, with the right way to call for a tow should you need one. Plus, when you're building a boat like a frugal New Englander, saving some money with used electronics might make sense. And our own Mr. Yachts introduces us to a splendid Riva Splendida, and it's quite amazing. Also, are we ready for electric boats? Our friend from Boat US magazine is here and gets us plugged into the electric buzz. All this and a whole lot more is right around the bend on The Drift. Hello and welcome to The Drift. I'm your host, Sierra Goodwill. One of the many things we love about New England is its rich boat building history. On our Boat Build segment, our host, John Methia, spends some time with the builders and artisans of New England boat building. As we continue the keel-up build of our Downeast cruiser, we're working to keep expenses in check, and used parts is one way to do just that. Let's check in on our used electronics find.
Master Wizard Steve Rice, working on our used, of course, Raymarine radar and GPS setup. Steve, how's it going?
Pretty good. We just have to get the GPS working.
Just have to get the GPS working.
Yeah.
We found this radar and GPS setup on Facebook Marketplace, which is a fantastic resource for our boat build. He said, I'm just looking to upgrade my electronics. I'll take $1,000 for it. $1,000 for this kind of an electronics package is a deal of the century. If it works, that is. See, we still have a yellow flashing light.
Okay, so nothing now. Plug it in.
Red flashing, red light, solid. Well, I don't know how good a deal this is, because a red light on an antenna is never a good thing. Actually, a red light anywhere is never a good thing. And it looks like we're having some problems getting our system to see the satellite and for the GPS to work. But if anybody can fix it, Steve Rice can. Okay.
That's going to go through that whole setup again. A lot of RF energy. It's really not intended to be ran with this dome open and us being this close. When it's on the boat, it's way over our heads,
right.
And we're a safe distance.
So even if you don't plan on having any more children, it's not about that. It's more about
other damage potentially to yourself. It is non-ionizing radiation, but it's not good for you.
Wait, what was that? Back that up.
Non-ionizing radiation. The same thing as
Could
your
you walk
cell
me
phone.
through that kind of, I don't know, electromagnetic field? All right, let's just get back to the dish.
So one of the things we had to do in here, and the reason the lid is off, is there's connectors down in here. So there's 4 screws we opened, the door came off, the power for this unit, as well as the data cables connecting here. We close that back up, that's good to go. Now, if you're working on this while it's mounted on the boat, there is a little cord right here that comes out. And the cover snaps into
I was
here.
wondering what that cord was for.
So that goes in there so that when you're working up on the boat, you don't have to worry about losing the lid.
Good point.
And we just stow it back away. The manual tells you have to do that so that way this does not hit it. Okay? So right in here, that's the business end of the radar. There's the array with all the antennas. And that spins in a circle continuously.
All right. And it looks like we're in good shape. It looks like all of this works.
Absolutely.
So I've got a feeling if we were buying this new and not taking our frugal approach, which is what we're doing with this build, I would guess that this unit right here would set us back more than the $1,000 we paid for the whole
Absolutely.
setup.
Especially if it works.
And some people want the latest and greatest and the newest, and that's what the gentleman who sold me these did. You know, he it was over $15,000 for replacement, but you know what? I'm happy. This will work. So we'll put the cover back on.
There's a gasket there. We want to make sure that lines up. We'll get a screwdriver and we'll tighten this down.
Tighten it up so you feel the gasket compress.
They warn you in the manual not to over tighten it. It's all plastic in there. And it has to be plastic because we're shooting radio energy out of here and it can't be bouncing back.
You read the manual?
Yes.
Yeah, that's something probably I wouldn't have done. But anyways, that's a good thing. Right?
So the sweep's coming right around the screen there. You can kind of see it.
All right, so there's half the battle. We've got radar. let's just work on getting our GPS up.
Yeah, perfect. The other display is the master.
Maybe it has to plug into the master display. I mean, I don't know much, but
Give it a shot.
so what are you doing here? Disconnecting?
I'm just gonna check to see if we pull it out, does that data stream go away? Okay, so I'm getting data coming in now, it's receiving.
Well, there you have it. It looked like we were simply using the wrong input on the back of the unit. An easy and inexpensive fix. And that made this the perfect unit for our boat build, and the frugal boat builder strikes again. Steve, you realize you're going to have to give me a lesson on how to work this stuff once you get it going.
Oh yeah, we'll have to do it on the boat though.
Yeah, we will.
As always, you can find more Boat Build at driftsociably.com and at driftsociably on social media. Straight ahead on the Drift, it's the Boat US pros at the helm with the best way to hail for a tow. And they aim to create a world of kindness, love, happiness through surf therapy. Plus, Mr. Yachts tours a Riva Splendida that is fresh off a $600,000 retrofit. And it sparkles. All that and more right here on The Drift.
At the Helm is brought to you by Boat US. Better boating starts here.
And now, at the helm with Boat US and our friend, Lenny Rudeau.
You know, nobody wants their boat to break down. But the truth of the matter is, if you spend enough time out here, sooner or later, you're going to need a tow. And when that day comes, we sure hope you have full coverage with Boat US. Now, setting that aside for the moment, there are certain things that everybody needs to know before they're taken under tow. First off, safety issues. You want to make sure that everybody on board is wearing a life jacket and remains calm. Now, we do recommend that if you have inflatables, which are great, we love them, but it is even better to put on the real deal, like this offshore vest. As long as you're not in an area with heavy boat traffic or in water that's too deep where it's unsafe to anchor, go ahead and drop the anchor. You might also want to drop it if you're drifting in a dangerous direction. Then turn on your VHF and tune it to channel 16. And if you don't already have it turned on, also turn on your GPS chart plotter. From dusk to dawn, make sure your lights are on, whether that's your running lights if you're not anchored or your anchor lights if you are anchored. And if you have anybody aboard, assign them to be a lookout. Have them keep an eye out if you see any other boats approaching. Don't be shy about flashing a spotlight at them or maybe giving a blast of the air horn. Let them know you're there. The Boat US app is actually the best way to get in touch with your tower, because when you contact them, they will already have your phone number and information about your boat, the exact location, and all the details that they need to know. Then you'll want to provide the tow captain with all kinds of details like the destination you're heading for, what your problem is, how many people are on board, and things like that. Now, if you're not getting cell service, which is going to happen sometimes on the water, you're going to hail the towboat on channel 16 on your VHF. Be prepared for him to ask you to switch and answer on a different channel. And you're going to need to be looking at your GPS. You need to know your latitude and longitude. Those are the numbers they want to come get you as quickly as possible. Towboat US, Towboat US, Towboat US. This is the right of way.
Roger, so this is Towboat US. Can you switch and answer channel 10, channel 10?
Channel 10, see you there. After you get an ETA, just stay calm, relax, and wait. Don't get out of the boat. If the captain doesn't arrive on time, just call for an update. Follow the Towboat US captain's instructions. They will figure out the best way to get a line to you. And if you have to wait a bit for the tide to be ungrounded, say, just be patient. Be careful not to touch anything unless the captain asks you to. Usually, you won't have to worry about fenders or lines. The Towboat US captain has all that preset, and they will suggest the best method of how to connect the tow line. Work with the captain. Following his or her lead, they are professionals. Once you're connected, just sit back in the cockpit and stay calm. Don't steer unless the captain of the towboat asks you to. Don't touch the tow line, and wait for the captain to unhook it. And of course, don't take your VHF off the station that he or she has specified. Remember, in any emergency, calling the authorities on VHF channel 16 is the first move you need to make. What about your cell phone? Well, you can always use it to call 911, but the United States Coast Guard prefers that you use the VHF to initiate contact in an emergency.
Thanks, Lenny. Better boating starts at Boat US. Visit driftsociably.com for more At the Helm with Boat US. We appreciate those people and organizations who give back. And as always, we're honored to share their stories. The amazing folks at Gnome Surf provide surf, eco, and yoga therapy to children and families of all abilities on the autism spectrum, Down syndrome, and the LGBTQ youth. Gnome Surf's camp is called Happy Camp, and it sure does bring smiles. During Happy Camp, these awesome camp kids engage in art, yoga, sandcastle building, and other fun beach games in which family members are encouraged to partake right alongside their athlete. The Gnome Surf folks highly encourage bringing the entire family to the beach. It truly is a healing and rejuvenating day. Christopher Anato is Gnome Surf's founder.
Here at Gnome Surf, we do individual surf therapy lessons as well as weekly camps on Sunday. At Gnome Surf, we're trying to build a community for families to come, and what we teach them out there is that by believing in themselves and really stepping outside their comfort zone, they can achieve anything they want in their life. People may look at us like we're just surfers, but our families are really telling the story for us about how life-altering this is for their child. We have a lot of plans. We want to build a treehouse resort here locally so families can travel from all over to us. We already have families coming from Philly, Vermont, New York. We're looking to build a treehouse resort in Costa Rica where we can actually take the families in the wintertime from here to get a wellness escape out there and just give them that ultimate wellness and healing experience. Every child with a disability has the opportunity to feel love, to be accepted just like any other child is. Over 98% of our children are feeling happier after a surf lesson, and over 93% of them are feeling more self-confident. People no longer are looking at a child with autism and seeing their disability, but rather their ability to teach us about life. To meet these kids is to love them. They're just pure individuals, and like I tell everyone, a child with autism, it's not a disability, it's an ability. The most honest, spiritual, gentle humans I've ever met, and they teach me so much about kindness, and I absolutely love it.
And we at The Drift are honored to share that we are a supporting sponsor of Gnome Surf and hope that you will support their good works as well, because The Drift cares. For more information and how to give, visit driftsociably.com. Ahead on The Drift, the future of boating could be electric, but is it right for every boater? Boat US enlightens us. Plus, Mr. Yachts with an amazing retrofit to a 72 Riva Splendida that is certain to impress.
The Drift podcast can be found at driftsociably.com.
And now our host, John Methia, sits down with those in the know of the boating industry, talking tips and tech, fun and sun. We call it From the Cast, always an informative slice from the Drift podcast. Today, John spends some time with Boat US magazine editor Rich Armstrong to talk electric boating options.
So there was some buzz in Miami in and around electrics, but it wasn't the story. It wasn't the breaking story.
It was to Boating Magazine. They named it Boat of the Year at the show.
Really?
But also, what you can see is the Nautique GS22E, which is legitimately a 22-foot wake boat that is all electric.
So, it could be on somebody's home dock, and you could charge up there. But, when we boat here on Buzzards Bay, so we take a trek over to Martha's Vineyard or Nantucket, and then if you pull in with an electric, and unless that infrastructure is there at the marinas and the ports of destination, restaurants, marina bars, or whatever, how are you going to charge it? And then if there is one charging station or two at a dock, imagine that trying to get to that dock, right? And trying to get availability at that charging station, and on and on and on. So I think if there was really huge promise, you'd probably see Elon Musk in the game, playing somewhere.
That's a good point.
Right?
He's got his hands full with rockets and cars and tunnel bores and whatever else. But
I haven't heard of him. Yeah, I'll go to space. I'll board tunnels. I'll do cars. Boating, I don't know. We'll see. Right?
You know, I would love to see Tesla enter the marine market. I haven't heard anything about it.
You know, but if you're talking an outboard in the 80-horse range or 40-horse range, and it's trailable, and it's the kind of thing a guy can bring home on his trailer and plug in to his home charging station, that might make sense, you know?
Yeah, I think the best thing the Fed can do is offer incentives, either to manufacturers like tax breaks, or maybe to consumers,
right?
To, you know, you get a rebate or something. But boy, I don't see any sign of that in this federal government to promote electric. Not at this time. But incentives would be good. From my experience, the electric people really want to be electric, so they have to go out of their way. And given that scenario, like going to a marina for, you know, a cocktail, you have to plan ahead. You have to make sure you can charge. So it's a different way of life, and you just have to pay more attention. But the people that are into electric boat are totally committed to it. And if you've ridden on it, it's a unique experience. It really, as a powerboater, it's hard to wrap your brain around the fact that the only sound you're hearing is the wake on the hull of the boat, and you're moving at a good clip.
I was going to say that much like the electric cars, I'm wondering if they're going to have to add a sound to these outboards as they come out. A guy wants to hear something, right?
Yeah, it's disconcerting. But actually the hull, the water lapping on the hull is a nice sound as well.
All right, Rich. Thank you very much. Thanks for your insight on electrics. I'll hold off. I'll keep my my two-stroke for another year. I was going to go out there and buy a brand new electric engine, but I'll keep the two-stroke going, baby. That's for sure.
You know, boaters aren't impulse buyers. We like to stick with what works, and we're slow to change.
Unless you're at a boat show and you've got a 25, and boy, that 30 looks nice. It's always a bigger boat, right?
Yeah, it's tough to be a boater. You're never happy.
Rich, thank you very much, man. All right, and good work on Boat US Magazine. We love it.
And remember, for the full Drift podcast, visit driftsociably.com and wherever you listen to find podcasts. She's from one of the oldest and most revered shipyards in the world. She's had a total rebirth, and she's straight ahead on the Drift.
Hey Drifters, The Drift comes to you from our sociable DGI Communication Studios. Get the drift?
Mr. Yachts Nick Cardoza knows yachts, where to charter them, where to find them, and where to buy them. So let's go to sunny Florida and see another beauty.
Today I want to show you this amazing 2001 Riva Splendida 72. It's an unbelievable boat. It's been totally refit. Come have a look. All right, so now that we're on board, I want to talk about what it means to be a Riva owner. Now, consider Riva is one of the oldest shipyards still in production today. They're well known throughout the world and highly respected as one of the best yacht builders. When you become a Riva owner, you become part of a club. Now, not only is this boat completely refit inside and out with new teak decks, new table, new upholstery, new paint, sound system, and a bunch of other stuff, but look how smart the layout is. You've got a full sun pad on the aft deck, a couch, and 2 couches here with a wet bar and crew quarters. But let's go on the inside, I'll show you even more. Now into the main salon. You see how this just opens up and creates a completely awesome flow? Got this huge sunroof up here, a nice big bar top. Now this is good for like catering. You could put all your sushi, tacos, whatever you want, sandwiches. We've got fridge here, bar underneath, ice maker here, and look at this great table. In the classic Riva colors, it opens and closes to make it bigger, smaller, and you can seat about 6 people here. Now we get to this awesome helm station. What I love about this helm station is it has a mix of the analog dials with the new age digital navigation equipment. Now, one of my absolute favorite parts of this boat is this massive living room down below. Instead of having a cabin area here on port or starboard, we're able to open up this area with natural light coming from the skylight, a huge 6-person couch. Now, a little bit about the cabins. You've got a master cabin aft and a VIP up forward. And these two cabins are almost the same, so it's almost like the boat has 2 master cabins, both with ensuite bathrooms, and we've got an additional cabin with twins that has direct access to the dayhead, which is shared with the rest of the boat. Now, what really resonates with the Italian design is having the galley, or kitchen, in the middle of the boat, which brings the whole family together. Let's talk a little bit about the features of this boat. What makes this boat so special and why is it a good buy? Well, we're dealing with the 72-footer, which is a whole lot of boat. Even though it's a 72-foot boat, you've got a very large tender garage. It's been fully refit. Now, yeah, granted, it's a 2001, but you're really getting a deal because if you think about the depreciation curve, the replacement value of a similar boat like this could be upwards of $7 million. New paint job, new decks. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. It's almost a 20-year-old boat. It's got no smell. You know, a common misconception with older boats is, oh man, the boat's too old, the boat's too old. Boats are too old if they haven't been maintained. Real estate is about location. Yachting is about pedigree and condition. Well, Riva is one of the top pedigree brands of the world, and the condition of this boat is as good as almost anything I've seen that has been built in the past 5 years.
What a beauty as usual. Well, you can get the full tour of this and other amazing yachts at DriftSociably.com. Well, Drifters, that's it for this time. As always, thanks for joining us at the social place for boating, The Drift. For more content like this, like, follow, share, and subscribe to The Drift at Drift Sociably or visit us at DriftSociably.com. For all of us here at The Drift, I'm Sierra Goodwill. Drift Sociably. Get the drift?
The Drift has been brought to you by Boat US. Better boating starts here. Join today.